What is going on, people? Welcome back to the casting table from Apocaflix Movies, where we take our favorite characters and choose what actors and actresses we want to play them. I am Jacob Bartley, and I am joined by Gio Ramos and Brian Avolicino. What is up, guys?
Hello.
Just taking it day by day.
Yes.
Yep.
So this is one that I'm super excited about.
It's your guy, yeah.
Yes. Brian's probably a little bit excited. Gio does not really care, but he's here because he knows who the character is. That is the only qualifying thing for this show. Do you know who they are? Yes.
Out of the five of
participate.
Out of the five of us, it's us three.
Yeah, exactly.
Stand the best.
So we are casting Lord Zedd today. If you don't know who Lord Zedd is, he is one of the original villains on the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers TV show. He was the second main villain on the show after Rita Repulsa, and actually ends up marrying Rita Repulsa against his own will, if you guys didn't know that.
Wow.
But he's actually a very iconic villain in Power Rangers because Rita was always, no one took her seriously. She was very cheesy and very jokey.
She was the best.
And I loved her as a kid. I loved Rita and she's the original villain. But when Zedd came around, you were like, oh shoot, who's this guy?
He had that intimidation factor. Yeah.
Exactly. And I've heard stories that when Zedd came on, at first, mothers were writing the TV station saying this villain's too dark for the show.
Well, he's literally a de-skinned body.
Exactly. And then after that, those complaints, they started making him more jokey, because if you notice, he starts being jokey himself, but it's still not as cheesy as Rita. Yeah. He just has that villain laugh. So basically, he is a major Power Rangers villain, and I do think, hypothetically, when we do see another Power Rangers movie, I do think we will see a Lord Zedd character, because they already did Rita.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't they tease him in the movie that came out a few years ago?
Did they?
Did they?
No, they didn't.
I don't think so.
But
they teased that Rita survives.
Yes. So the thing is, if he was, he probably would have appeared in their third movie if they would have continued with that, because the second movie was going to be Rita and the Green Ranger as the villains.
Oh, really?
That's what they teased. But so Zedd, I assume, since we just had Rita, I assume if they do a movie, we're going to see Zedd.
Right.
Because he was the next big villain. So,
or them both at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. So I figured that would be cool. Just have them as a married couple already. Married couple. We don't see a lot of married couple villains in anything that often.
The first one that comes to my mind is the bad guys from Rocky and Bullwinkle.
But that's kind of cool, though. A married couple just taking over the world.
Yeah.
So we figured we'd do a Lord Zedd casting. So for me, when I'm thinking about this, I'm thinking, okay, they have to be brooding physical force, I think. They have to be kind of big. But either way, they can do like what they did with Oscar Isaacs with Apocalypse. They can just make him look intimidating. Which
reference.
That's terrible, but so they don't have to be big. They can make them look big. Also, we don't know if it's going to be motion capture or if they're going to put a makeup on him or whatever the case is going to be. Also, I want an actor who could be intimidating but also be funny. So those were my qualifications when considering it. Because I'm really scared that one of you guys are going to take mine, I'm going to go first.
What? Yep. You don't get to go first.
I'm going to go first with my number one choice. This is the only time I'm ever going to do this. And I don't think you guys are going to take mine as your number one. I hope not. But so considering those qualifications I just said, my number one choice for Lord Zedd is Karl Urban.
Nice.
Karl Urban, first of all, he can get in shape and be physically brooding. He's not like that in every movie, but he can get that way. Also, he's perfect for the type of intimidating / funny person or being that Zedd is. I could totally see him cracking these jokes and laughing while being intimidating as well. And the thing that made me, there's two things. Dread is something that makes me think he could do this, because Zedd, while you see his face, he kind of has this thing over it and a little thing. So Dread makes me think it, and also the boys.
Kinda, he kind
of does have a mask on.
Only his eyes are showing.
He kind of does have a mask on, but his whole face isn't covered.
Yeah.
But also the boys. The way that character is in the boys just makes me think he could totally pull this off.
Right.
And I think he's an actor who would do it and who would have fun with it. So that's the thing. Like, I'm not going to choose Daniel Day-Lewis or Leonardo DiCaprio for this because I know they would never do it. But a guy like Carl Urban, I think he would consider it and be like, yeah, I'll do that and have some fun with it. So Carl Urban is my first choice.
Interesting.
Could you guys see that?
Oh, I could see it. I can definitely see it. My choice went away from the physicalness.
It doesn't have to be.
Oh, no, I know. Yeah. But if you were going off of what you said, he pretty much nicks every category that you said. So it's not a horrible choice in the slightest.
Yeah, exactly. All right, well, let's go to you, Gio. So, knowing what you know about the character, who would be your number one choice to play Lord Zedd?
Well, for all the reasons that you mentioned, I want to go with somebody who is proven as far as doing action films and, sequences. My choice, I told you before. I didn't know I was going to be on here. But my first choice is Gerard Butler. I think about his performance as King Leonidas in 300 and just how, physically, commanding he was on screen, and he has the voice. We've seen him do action films. The Fallen, Angel Has Fallen, Olympus Has Fallen. So he can definitely do that. And I just think while his career hasn't been what I hoped it would be as far as, taking off after 300, he's still very recognizable amongst mainstream audiences. He'd be a name to put on the project, and I think he would just be perfect for the role.
Yeah, he honestly, even though they're very different, him and Carl Urban kind of reminded me of each other a little bit.
Yeah,
and I think he could pull off all those categories that I checked: the physical part, the intimidating part, and the funny part.
Oh, he could play a villain. If you guys haven't seen Law Abiding Citizen, he could play a villain.
Yes,
perfectly.
So I think I would be very happy if he was announced as Zedd.
Yeah.
All right, Brian, let's go to you.
All right. So I did not stick towards the body type because if you know Lord Zedd, chances are he's probably going to be some type of computer generated or something. I mean, the character is literally just muscle with silver pieces on top of it,
or makeup and prosthetics.
Something. Yeah. There's no. I mean, obviously he can't just go out there and be Lord Zedd.
Right.
So for me, I went with someone that I adore and love as an actor, and that is Mark Strong.
Oh,
okay. I love him. I think he would be,
actually, his personality would be great for that.
Exactly. So I just could see him being like, he could be funny if he needs to, but his funny isn't like ha ha hee ha funny. It's more like a sarcastic wit funny.
Absolutely.
And I think that might work better than just like the classic like wild and kookiness of like the original Lord Zedd. So I think that might work better for if they go towards an adulter type Lord Zedd. And I think like physically he could hold his own. He's tall. He's not out of shape in the slightest. He's just older, but I think he would be a dope Lord Zedd, and I would love his voice too. Would be perfect.
Yeah, so they would probably modulate the voice a little bit. You still have to have that tone. You have to get the tone right in the way you're saying things right, and then they would modulate it to make it sound similar to the original. So I actually love that. If you've seen Stardust, he's the main villain in Stardust, and he's a villain where he's intimidating and scary, but the way he acts and the things he says are funny, but he's not intending them to be funny.
Right, exactly.
It's not like he's trying to crack jokes, but the things he's saying are hilarious because it's just ridiculous fun. But I definitely recommend watching Stardust if you like Mark Strong. It stars Charlie Cox as well as the main character. So
no wonder you like it.
It's a really good movie. Oh man, those are some great choices. I would be very happy with either of them. And I think we all realize that it takes a certain type of actor to do this. They have to be like, okay, it's Power Rangers. This is silly, but I'm going to have fun doing it. That type of actor. And for me, this is actually the first name that came to my mind when I was doing it, but he's not my number one choice. But I think someone who would be perfect for this is Dave Bautista.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
Dave Bautista, because look at the Drax character. If they did do makeup and prosthetics, it would be similar to how the Drax character is done. And I could totally see him pulling off, obviously, the physical part of it. But also, he's gotten better comedically as an actor. And he has some other movies coming out where he's the lead, so we'll see how he does there. But I think for him, this would actually be a big role for him to play the villain in a hopefully a successful. I'm not necessarily successful, but a movie that people are paying attention to. You know, if they announce a Power Rangers movie's coming and he's cast as Lord Zedd, that would bring a lot of attention to him.
Sure.
So I definitely think he could pull it off.
So that's not a bad choice. I mean, that could be a first choice.
Absolutely, yeah.
So
he was the first name that came to my mind, but then I was like, oh, but Carl Urban though, he would be like my number one choice. So yeah, Dave Bautista, my number two.
It's not a bad one.
No, all the years he spent doing WWE,
Exactly.
you know,
He would
and being a
probably do
brooding force.
a lot of his own stunts and stuff too.
Yeah. Not a bad choice at all.
Because unlike Rita in the show, Lord Zedd actually goes down to fight the Power Rangers sometimes, or actually fights them. In the show, Rita never fights them once herself.
She literally stays on her moon. And
Exactly.
yeah.
All right, well, let's move on to Gio. What was your second backup choice, Gio?
Okay, so this is casting table, fan casting,
Yep.
right? So this necessarily I don't see happening, but again, you think about the character of Lord Zedd, the physical presence, intimidating, not afraid to, go toe to toe with the Power Rangers. And I also went with somebody who, again, his career did not take off, but he's a recognizable face. You see him in movies, and you're like, I know who that guy is. And for me, it's Michael J. White. He would be my second choice as Lord Zedd. You think about...
I really like that.
You think about
I really like that.
Spawn. I don't know if you guys saw Blood and Bone, but it was a straight to video, but kicks...
Spawn is a perfect example for...
Universal Soldier, The Return,
this,
not as good as the first
one. He's
one.
also... it's not White Tiger. No, it's who's the character in the Arrowverse?
He was Bronze Tiger, right?
Bronze Tiger in
Bronze
the
Tiger.
Arrowverse. Yeah.
Okay, now I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, that guy.
I didn't know who you were talking about at first.
Again, if you see his name, you won't recognize him, but if you see him on screen, you're like, oh, I know that guy. And there's just something about it. Every time he's on screen, he has this commanding presence. It's like, he's not the best actor, and you don't have to be the best actor to be Lord Zedd. You just gotta have that. What does Roka say? Gravitas, which is what he has. For sure. And I mean, it won't happen because he needs to fire his agent or something.
Honestly, it's possible because people aren't gonna be clamoring to play this role.
Well, sure.
No,
they're not. So I think that's a possibility.
I mean, think about Spawn and him taking that to Lord Zedd. That'd be awesome.
I like that.
Yeah, I don't know enough about him to agree with you. I've never seen Spawn.
Mm-hmm.
I know him from Bronze Tiger.
Yeah,
that I do. So off of that, yeah.
Well, he was also in The Dark Knight briefly before Joker killed him.
That's right.
He was one of the
million alive, so I could teach you some manners.
Interesting. I did not even put the two and two together.
Yeah.
There you go.
See?
What is he? He did another famous role. Like it was like a spoof action movie. Is it?
Black Dynamite. Yeah, Black Dynamite. Yeah. Man, I need to watch that one. But
all right, Brian, what is your number two choice?
So my original number two was his number one,
Gerard Butler.
Yeah, but
wow.
I don't want to be boring and pick.
We
can talk more about Gerard Butler.
I like that we're thinking similar actors.
Right?
No, he's a great choice. He was my number two originally, but I wanted to pick something different so that way we could all have different choices.
Yeah,
sure.
And for this, I kind of went more towards your category of stuff, and that for me would be Chris Pratt.
Oh, okay.
He physically could easily probably do it. He has the funny if they chose to go that route, and I, off the top of my head, cannot think of him being a bad guy in anything.
I want to see him in a bad as a bad guy.
You know, that's a good point because I don't think he's been a villain in anything. And if he is going to be a villain, this is the type of villain.
Yeah, it's like a funny.
He's not going to be a Bond villain.
No.
Yeah.
So that's why I kind of went towards him because I'm not going to pick like your classically like bad like person that gets cast in every bad guy role. So I went for someone that typically get cast as the good guy because he's funny and upbeat and stuff. So
I'm not saying he can't do it. I have a tough time seeing it though. I don't know. You think about him in Parks and Rec and then him as Star-Lord. I think he's, dare I say, typecast. You know?
Oh, he is.
Like
because
Jurassic World.
Even
Yeah.
his Jurassic World character is basically Star-Lord.
Sure.
Yeah.
And I've never seen. I didn't watch Magnificent Seven all the way with the new one with Denzel, but he
wasn't bad in that.
No, not at all.
But
Similar personality.
Yeah, yeah. So I don't know if you want to bring that to.
There you
Lord
go.
Zedd, but
See if you can pull off something a little different.
Exactly. I'm not
while
saying
keeping in your wheelhouse, maybe.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's an alien character, a villain, and he could definitely pull off the funny part, but I don't know, because you do have to make him serious and intimidating as well, and I'm not sure if he could pull it off, but I would not be opposed to it. That'd be a big... He's the biggest star we've mentioned so far.
I think it'd depend on the director, too. Like,
exactly.
You would need a director who can pull it out of him.
Well, it's the guy... If Lord Zedd appears in the movie that they're working on, and I've never seen this. It's the guy who made End of the Effing World on Netflix.
Oh, yeah.
So I've never watched that show, though, and I heard it's very dark. But they're doing a time travel movie where teenagers travel to the 90s.
Yeah.
So
okay.
I don't know what...
how
the tone's going to be.
I already like that. That's like... what was that movie with the kids in the 90s where they ride bikes in the neighborhood? And A$AP Rocky's in the movie.
Dope.
Dope. Yeah. Just like, Dope and...
At first I thought you were talking about Stranger Things, and I was like...
E.T.?
Yeah.
So I could see that.
Yeah. Hey, can I ask you a quick question?
Sure.
Because you know Lord Zedd, who would win in a fight between Lord Zedd or General Zod?
Oh, man.
I guess it also depends where it takes place, because if it's General Zod has the... But if it's on Lord Zedd or like Rita's Moon...
I want to say Zod.
I would probably think that.
But it just depends. Like you said, he's not going to be as powerful on Krypton or on another planet that doesn't have a sun.
Zod never really fought.
No, he was a decorated soldier. Yeah, for Krypton. Yeah, he was.
Not Zod. I didn't mean Zod. I meant to say Zedd.
Zedd. Yeah.
Zedd.
Only a couple times he fights the White Ranger.
Yeah.
And then he takes a big Zord, dragon Zord called Serpentera down to Earth to fight the Rangers.
Yeah.
So he did more than Rita. But the thing is, I think
if he did fight, he just used
Zedd would probably... It depends on the situation. That's a good question, though, because Zedd is more powerful in a sense where he can use... He's kind of like a sorcerer in a way. He could shoot some stuff out of his staff, things like that. But if it's just hand-to-hand combat, no special magic or anything like that, Zod probably wins.
Right.
And especially if we're just... Let's say it's on Earth. I would give the slight edge to Zod. But if Zedd has everything available to him, then Lord Zedd.
Yeah, imagine Zod shooting out his eye beams, but Zedd blocking it with
his
the
staff,
oh,
and it's
man.
just like, damn, I want to see that now. Superpower beatdown people should
go.
do that.
Yep.
So I know you guys don't know much, but basically how it is, Rita's in the show, Rita has failed. And
first, I want to go back. I know you don't know much. Excuse me.
About Power Rangers.
Well, first of all,
be specific. Okay.
First of all, did you guys have any honorable mentions?
Mine was gonna be my second choice, but The Rock was also gonna be one of my.
I have The Rock as an honorable mention.
I would have said Jason Momoa if he hadn't done Aquaman and his career hadn't taken off, as
Yeah, maybe before that.
Sure. Yeah.
So the thing is, I usually try to make my choices realistic. So I think Carl Urban and Dave Bautista are realistic, but I had The Rock down.
Yeah.
I had Benicio del Toro down, and I had Hugh Jackman down.
Hugh Jackman was floating around mine for a while.
I don't think Hugh Jackman would do it, but I think he could pull it off.
He could definitely pull it off.
Probably.
It's just he needs the right director because you think about
Yeah.
what was that movie, the Peter Pan movie that he did?
Oh.
Yeah.
Wasn't it no,
Hook?
not
No, it's not Hook.
Pan.
It was Pan.
Pan.
Yeah.
Pan.
Yeah. We got
so
panned. Sorry.
So I was gonna say, knowing what we know, let's say it's in that time travel movie, and for those viewers, if you don't know, or Gio, basically Rita is failing. She's been trying to beat the Power Rangers for over 60 episodes, and they're like, okay, you failed. Zedd is like, he comes to the moon and banishes her. He locks her away. And for like most of season 2, it's Lord Zedd just by himself with her goons trying to take down the Power Rangers. And they're not going to do that same exact thing in the show, but how do you guys see him fitting into a movie, potentially?
Them coming together.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't want him introduced right away. I kind of want the movie to build up to him. Like, I mean, the movie's obviously going to focus on the Power Rangers. I don't think you want to do Rita a whole movie, so maybe Zedd comes in at some point.
Well, Zedd is kind of, if Rita's the first level of the video game, Zedd is like the next guy up. So basically, Zedd is not the Thanos of their universe. He's one tier under that.
Who is Thanos? I forget.
Master Vile. He's Rita's dad.
Oh,
so
okay.
he comes on. Like, everyone's like, "Oh, don't mess with Master Vile," and then he finally appears at the end of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers season 3, I believe. And he's like way too much for that.
It's like Frieza to King Cold in Dragon Ball Z. Sorry.
So, there you go. There's our casting table for Lord Zedd. As you can tell, that one made me very happy.
Yes.
Honestly,
We did it to shut Jacob up a little.
some of the names that you guys said, I did not even think of, and I love those choices. Mostly any of the names that we said today, I would be super happy about. I think they would be a good choice. Well, yes, that's going to do it for Apocaflix movies and the casting table. Let us know who you would cast as Lord Zedd in a potential Power Rangers movie. Do you like our choices? Which one would you choose out of the people that we chose? Let us know in the comments section. As always, again, I am Jacob Bartley. Up there, up top is Brian Avolicino, and right under him is Gio Ramos. And yes, please subscribe to Apocaflix Movies. Check us out. Leave a comment. We might read your comment on Apocaflix Now, our main movie show. We will see you all next time.